Well, hello, my silky friends. I wanted to bring to your attention some of the things, the layout of Flora and Delphi, how they connect. For years, people have said, hey, if you can solve Delphi, you can solve Flora, and vice versa. So come with me as we take a deep dive into this unholy mess. We're going to start with a Flora fire that occurred in November of 2016. There's no shortage of connections between the bad actors, the Freemasons, and the Odinists, and right in the middle you have the Vinlanders. Mark Mirabello wrote a book called The Odin Brotherhood, a non-fiction account of contact with a pagan secret society with a new epilogue, a statement on the Odin Brotherhood. One of the quotes from there is, "Most mortals can wish, only extraordinary mortals can will." So apparently they seem to be suggesting they are extraordinary. Likewise, the Freemason theology is making good men better, so it would seem they want to be extraordinary as well, but we'll leave that for another time. Now enter the bad actors. Number 1, Brad Holder is both an Odinist and a Freemason. His son Logan was known to be dating Abby Williams. He has prior military service and is named in the Franks motion as being involved in the Delphi unalivings. Number 2, Colton Creasy, also known on social media as Colton Fox, a known member of the Vinlander group. He had recently dated Galen Rose before the Flora fire, which resulted in the unalivings of her 4 little girls. He is also an Odinist. Number 3, Galen Rose, not an actor at all, but I had to include her in the cast because she is the victim. She was a mother to 4 little girls who were unalived by arson in Flora, Indiana in November of 2016. The fire was ruled to be arson, but no one has ever been arrested or prosecuted. Number 4, Patrick Westphal, a known Odinist and Vinlander. He served in the military with Brad Holder and was also pointed out as a potential perpetrator in the Delphi unalivings along with Brad Holder as well. Now let's take a deeper look into Colton Creasy. Colton reportedly has a tattoo on his chest and Nordic writing specific to some violent groups in the area. He is also part of a far-right anti-government group according to his social media. He is wearing a shirt for an honor. They are associated with the Vinlander Social Club and National Alliance, the former one being one of the most violent, racially based neo-organizations in that nation, founded in Indiana. An Honor USA, originally advocating a more militant approach, has been allied with several regional groups, creating a coalition of neo and even members called Council 28. 28 represents an honor, since the numerals 2 and 8 correspond with the alphabetical placement of the letters B and H. There are other resources that I will leave in the links below. On the left, you see an actual post from Colton Fox wearing the Guy Fawkes mask. And as you can see here on January 6, 2017, he refers to himself as a heathen and says, "I follow the old ways," definitely suggesting Odinism. That same day, he posts this as his potential back tattoo, clearly an Odin symbol, but let's look at his comments. He describes his ravens, his wolves, even down to his right eye gone, to which someone replies, "Hail Odin, hail all ancient gods." Now let's move on to Galen Rose, one of the victims of the Flora fire. Galen had been dating Colton Creasy, and although they had recently broken up, they still remained friends. Colton admitted in his police interview that he had been at Galen's house the afternoon before the fire. If he was a Vinlander, why would he have dated outside his race? Was this a setup for a hit? Or, as in Odinist terms, for a sacrifice, a blot? On November 19th, 2016, just 2 days before the Flora fire, he posts a meme saying, "Yeah, you're cute, but are you down with the revolution?" And he also makes the strange comment, "Drowning deep in my sea of loathing." Can you say their names, Colton? Kiana, Kiara, Kiani, and Carrie-Ann. And the day after the Flora fire, he posts this, "Got to reach the masses somehow." Reach the masses? With a revolution? Was the Flora fire your plan? Is that how you were going to start? Now let's take a look at Patrick Westphal. Patrick is a known Odinist, a Vinlander. He lived just a few blocks away from Galen Rose. He states he was living in Delphi at the time of the fire, but social media posts suggest that is a lie. This photo was taken the day of the fire. Notice the reference to a blot? But let's look at this picture more closely. You can clearly see here that Brad Holder is circled in yellow and Patrick Westphal in red. It says, "We had a blot here today at Jaeger Tierson's house." Now, Jaeger Tierson is an alias that Patrick Westphal used on social media. Now, I clearly can't read any of this on social media, but you can see that he thinks quite highly of himself. Now you can see from the map view that Patrick clearly lived just a few houses away from Galen Rose in the top left corner. Now in this picture you can see Brad Holder and Patrick Westphal clearly giving Vinlander hand signals with the 3 fingers. Now, interestingly enough, on February 15th, 2017, the day after Abby and Libby were found, Colton Creasy posts this on social media. Very interesting weapon. Now, this comes from the Frank's motion filed on September 18th, 2023, talking about Amber, who is Brad's ex, coming to visit him, and under the ruse that her friend had a date with Patrick, she was inquiring about his character. This is what Brad said. Brad became very nervous and told her that she needed to stay away from Westphal or she would end up unalive. She said that Brad told her Westphal and his crew was responsible for the unalivings of the girls in Delphi and a fire that had also passed away 2 girls. I asked her if she knew of the fires in Flora that unalived 4 girls, and she said she was not familiar with any fires that red-rummed any children until Brad mentioned it today. She said Brad may have been talking about that fire, but the number of victims wrong. She said Brad told her that Westphal and his crew had friends in several states, and they have no problem unaliving race traitors. I find that very interesting. Who all was a part of Patrick's crew, and who were the race traders in Delphi? So, are you beginning to connect the dots from Flora to Delphi? I sure am. So with all this information available, why didn't law enforcement just go ahead and go after the Vinlanders? So if you stuck with me this far, next time we're going to talk about unholy ties to Delphi.